Have you ever felt scared or sad for no reason at all? Like nothing bad happened today, your life looks fine on paper, but there's this heavy feeling sitting in your chest, or you jump at loud noises, or you don't trust people, even people who have never hurt you. And you're asking yourself, what is wrong with me? Here's something that might surprise you. The answer might not even be about you. It might be about your parents or your grandparents or people in your family you have never even met. Today, we're talking about inherited trauma, what it is, how it works, and most importantly, what you can do about it. So, stick around because by the end of this episode, you might understand yourself a little bit better. And like, share, and subscribe because this is what we do here. So, let's start simple. Trauma is what happens when something overwhelms us, something too big, too scary, too painful for the mind and body to fully process in the moment. Most people think trauma stays with the person it happened to. You go through something hard, you carry it with you. That part is true. But here's the part that most people don't know. Trauma can also be passed down, not just through stories your family tells, but sometimes in ways you can't even see in your body, your habits, and maybe even your genes. It's called inherited trauma or generational trauma, and it means the effect of something painful that happened to your parents or grandparents, even great grandparents, ancestors, can show up in you, even though you never lived through the event yourself. If you ever felt anxious, jumpy, or sad and thought, this doesn't match my life, you might be feeling an echo of something that happened before you were even born. Okay, so how does trauma actually get passed down from one person to the next? There are three main ways, so let's go through them one at a time. So the first one's biology. This is the part that surprises people the most. Scientists have found that severe trauma can actually change the way our genes work. Not the genes themselves, but how they're switched on or off, and this is called epigenetics. One well known example comes from children and grandchildren of Holocaust survivors. Researchers found changes in how their bodies handled stress hormones, changes that match patterns seen in trauma survivors, even though these children never experienced the trauma directly. So your body might be reacting to stress in a certain way, not because of anything that happened to you, but because of something that happened generations ago. Number two is how we're raised. If a parent went through something traumatic and never had a chance to heal it, it can affect how they show up as a parent. Maybe they struggle to feel safe, so they're overprotective. Maybe they shut down emotionally, so their child grows up learning that feelings aren't safe to share. Maybe they're always on edge, so the child learns the world is dangerous too. Kids are like sponges. They don't just learn what their parents teach them on purpose, they absorb the emotional tone of the home. If a parent is anxious, a child often becomes anxious too without ever realizing why. So, number three is family and community history. Some trauma isn't just personal, it's shared by a whole group of people. War, slavery, forced migration, genocide. These experiences shape entire communities, and the effects can last for generations, especially when the harm is ongoing, not just historical. Even silence plays a role here. A family doesn't have to talk about painful history for it to show up in how they live. Sometimes it's the thing nobody says out loud that carries the most weight. So let's bring this back to you. What does inherited trauma actually feel like in real life? It might feel like feeling anxious or on edge even when there's nothing wrong. Struggling to trust people even when they've given you no reason not to. Feeling like you have to be the strong one or take care of everyone else. Having strong reactions to certain situations that seem bigger than the moment calls for. A general sense that something is wrong, even though you can't point to what that is. If any of this sounds familiar, I want you to hear this clearly. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You might be carrying the weight of what was never fully yours to carry in the first place. So here's the good news. Even though trauma can be passed down, it doesn't have to stay forever. So this isn't a life sentence, it's a pattern, and patterns can change. Here's a few things that can help. Number one is naming it. So just understanding that what you're feeling might be inherited and not something that you did wrong can be a whole lot of relief. Sometimes healing starts the moment you stop blaming yourself. You can also talk to a therapist or a coach or a functional medicine person. Certain types of therapy are especially helpful for trauma, including trauma that's inherited. Approaches like EMDR, somatic therapy, family systems, internal family systems are designed to help the body and mind process what wasn't processed before. Another thing that helps is learning your family story. Sometimes understanding what your parents or grandparents went through helps things click into place. That doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but it can offer context. You can also build new patterns on purpose. So you get to choose how you respond to stress, how to talk about feelings, how you show up for the people you care for. Every small choice you make differently is a thread that you're changing in the pattern. So if you came to this episode feeling like there was something wrong with you, I hope you're living with a different thoughts. Maybe you're not broken. Maybe you're carrying something that started before you did. And the beautiful part of this, you get to be the one who changes the story. What was passed down to you doesn't have to be what you pass down to the people who come after you. If this episode hit close to home, please talk to someone, a therapist, a doctor, a coach, someone you trust. You don't have to carry this alone and you don't have to figure it out by yourself. If I can help you, let me know. That's what I'm here for. So thanks for listening and take care of yourself. Bye.